I'd like a double done Julio margarita, no salt, with 2 limes.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Too Critical podcast. We have some special guests inside the lovely, beautiful North Chelmsford soundstage here, where it's a balmy 40-something degrees, I think. It's actually snowing outside, but it's a busy weekend, so the creators of HEROINEBURGH are here in town. And please introduce yourselves again. For everyone, I know we met you guys at Terrificon over the summertime. It was very cool to talk to you and hang out. So welcome back.
Thank you.
Take it away, Marvin.
Sure. So I'm Marvin Nguyen. I am the writer of The Edge from Second Sight Publishing. I am also an actor on the show. I play Corvon, the tough drug dealer who definitely doesn't get beat up all the time.
Definitely. I've never seen that clip on YouTube. Multiple
Never
times.
happened.
Yeah.
Didn't happen.
Didn't happen, right?
I also run second camera for HEROINEBURGH.
Okay. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I wasn't talking to you, Marvin.
I think it was to me.
I wasn't talking to you.
Yeah, thank you.
But welcome, Marvin. Go ahead.
I'm Casey Arn. I play Stellara, the super villainess. She's got solar powers. She's pretty bad A.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. And the creator of
Yes,
HEROINEBURGH.
I am the creator. Call me HB or whatever. The creator of HEROINEBURGH. I write the episodes and the comic books, and do a lot of other things like scouting locations, getting costumes, and organizing trips to Comic-Cons like the one we are on right now up here in New England.
So you're in Boxborough, Mass, right?
We are this weekend, which is Thanksgiving weekend.
Yep.
In Boxborough, Massachusetts, at Gary Summers' semi-legendary Northeast Con. And,
Okay.
Yeah, we just finished our first day out of 3 days there, and it's at the Regency Hotel. It seems pretty solid so far.
So what are the noticeable differences? So first of all, we met you guys at Terrificon, right?
Yes,
So
in Connecticut.
Yeah, in Connecticut. So how many cons have you been to since then?
This is good. Let's see here.
So that was the beginning of August, right? End of July,
Oh
beginning of
yeah,
August.
yeah. We've done about 4.
Since Terrificon. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we were in Morgantown, in Altoona, and Casey was there with us as Stellara.
Very cool.
We were at
Three Rivers.
Three Rivers, which was their fall semi-annual Three Rivers Light outside under the tent. And then we did Akron,
And Steel City.
and we did Steel City, which is in Pittsburgh.
Right.
Akron Comic Con was very good in Ohio. And then finally now we're at Northeast Con in New England, and there's one more Steel City for us to do in a couple weeks, in fact.
What are some of the differences between some of the different cons that you guys have been to?
Um,
And have you been to any of them before?
Well, so the Pittsburgh ones we do multiple times.
Right. Which is your hometown?
The Big Apple Con we did for the second time this year.
In Chicago, the Big Apple Con in Chicago. Yep.
The West Virginia Con was a different iteration we did. So they were pretty much all almost new to us, except for the Pittsburgh versions.
Okay.
And that's great because every time you go to a new place, you meet new people, you encounter new comic shops, and sometimes we get to do panels. In Altoona, we did a panel, and it presented the work of HEROINEBURGH and The Edge. And we're going to be doing the same thing tomorrow, actually, in the middle of the afternoon, a panel about those 2 comic books, which is part of a small creator collective we have called Comicsburgh. Hold that up there. That consists of 4 or 5 creators in Pittsburgh who sometimes travel together. In this case, it was me and Marvin going up here to near Boston. But there's also Grant, who does Beowulf, Mauricia, who does Music Maker, and even Jason Wright, is really the guy who does our covers. He's kind of a unsung part of that as well.
Okay.
So, yeah, we've been to a bunch of Comic-Cons, and in the meantime, with HEROINEBURGH, we are in the middle of creating issue number 3. Our interior artists are hard at work on that, and we are finishing up the final film sessions for episode 20, which, despite its name, is really the 22nd episode
Okay.
of HEROINEBURGH,
Yep.
which will be available in, I'd say, mid-January after the editing process finishes. But as of right now, we have 21 episodes.
That's
up.
fantastic. Fantastic. So how long does it take for you guys to produce one episode of a comic?
It's been taking a little longer, both because of the situation with the pandemic, and also because the episodes we've been writing for season 2 have been more complex with several interweaving stories. I would say 4 months or so per
Okay.
episode at this point.
Yep.
I'm hoping that we can maybe reduce that a little bit in 2022 once things get back to normal health-wise. But yeah, as of this point, 4 months per episode, and I don't know, a comic book once a year.
I mean, it's amazing. And you guys are printing these on your own? Like, you guys are doing it all?
Everything is done in Pittsburgh. That's the rule. With The Edge, Marvin's comic has an artist from the Philippines who is amazing. He'll tell you about that. But as far as everything else is done in Pittsburgh, with regards to HEROINEBURGH, both the comics and the videos, whether we're talking about actors, costume makers, prop people, locations, the actual printer that prints the books, and the artists, and of course the writing, all done in the Steel City, as
It's a great
it's
concept.
still called.
It's great that you guys keep that all under your roof. Marvin, how do you work with somebody that's in the Philippines? I assume it's all digitally.
Yeah.
Right?
Right. So, I mean, it's the internet, man.
Right.
It can't, you can use it for more than posting on Twitter.
Correct. Yes.
So, I mean, the only difference is.
People will bring food to your home.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Oh,
Yes. It's a whole
Yeah.
thing.
In the middle of the night, too, if you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We used to not want to get into cars with strangers and such, and now we have them bring us our food. And get into cars with them and go places.
Hey, as long as they have that sticker in the back, it
Yeah,
doesn't
that's
matter,
fine.
right? Yeah.
Well, you just send your tracking information to somebody else, and if you don't show up there, then they come looking for you, right?
Right.
But they have to call an Uber to come find you.
Right. And then they keep each other in business.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's cyclical.
There you go.
Yeah, so everything just is made easier by the internet, because even though we have a time difference of 12 hours, we're in the Philippines, they're 12 hours
Yes.
ahead of us. So when I'm getting up, he's going to bed.
So that would be my follow-up question. Your workflow.
Yeah.
Right. Because I know. So I work with a lot of guys that do CGI work, and a lot of them are in India. So I will be doing. I'll be laying out some stuff, or I'll do like rough storyboards, and then email them and try to give them as much information as possible, and then hit send, and then hope like all of those notes get followed by the time I wake up and they've started to work on them.
Right.
But that can be an issue sometimes when you're trying to do that like long distance working relationship.
Well, I would think in some cases yes, but I've been working with Mark since like 2008.
Yeah. So this guy's in your head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're on the same page,
Yeah.
and there are times where I don't give him instructions on how to do something. He comes up with something on his own. I trust him
Yeah.
to do his thing.
Yeah.
And there's very few times where I would like, oh, we should change this. It's like once or twice maybe
Really?
since we
Yeah.
started working since 2008. Yeah.
That's awesome. Very cool. So your 20th episode of the TV show that you're coming out with. So we talked briefly about people that you collaborate with, and were you able to retain a lot of your actresses, right, or your actors and such, and like what has happened like during COVID? Like a lot of people couldn't do it. Some people came back, and then I asked you like, do you write characters off? How does that whole process work?
I don't believe we've written any character off yet completely at all. In HEROINEBURGH, we have kind of a surfeit, a lot of characters, and when like I said, we have to sometimes recast, but as long as someone wants to continue being that character, they are welcome to do so for sure. And yeah, sometimes people aren't available, and sometimes we have to write around who is available. You're right in that, and but there are enough, and they're all talented,
Right.
and they come out swinging. So whatever combination of storylines we put together, it works best when we combine like I said, at this point in season 2, each show is multiple storylines, all converging on kind of a finale, which episode 21 is going to involve a finale, a conflict between the heroines and the villains,
Okay.
which is not necessarily going to result in a happy ending.
Okay.
And then we go on to season 3 from there. So we put together different combinations, and it usually works, especially when we have a good variety of different types of plots and different kinds of characters. You don't want to have a lot of stuff that looks very much the same
Right.
together. You want to have, you definitely want to have different plots. You want to have different looking costumes, fun with those different plots, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
So you're doing 10 episodes per season?
The first season was 13.
13, okay.
episodes.
Yep.
We just decided at a certain point that after introducing all the major characters, there would be an internal conflict that
Okay.
arose, and that kind of cemented the end of the first season. And then after that, it became a lot less about origin stories and more about like complex interweaving stuff. But we did in season 2 still introduce several new characters, one of whom is Stellara, the solar-powered supervillainess played by Casey.
So that segues into my next question. Thank you very much. So how do you find your actresses? Like, what's that process like? Is it word of mouth? Is it a lot of the people that have been in like improv and things like that, and then they kind of tell everybody what they're doing? People see it. Do people come to you, or do you guys do casting calls and go out there and look for people?
The HEROINEBURGH roster kind of started from the music scene originally.
Okay.
I grew out. I came out of the Pittsburgh music scene, and a lot of the most early participants were in bands. I mean, and they had the charisma and the talent and kind of the presence to do these superhero things because they were already used to being on stage. In
Right.
fact,
Yeah.
and kind of
fearless.
the fearlessness, and
frontman
also
attitude.
the idea of being more than you are, because if you're in a band and you're a singer, whether it's a singer, keyboard player, bassist, or whatever, you're not just your normal. You kind of.
It's a persona.
It's a persona,
Right.
And that carries over well
Right.
to being a superhero in a way that you wouldn't even think.
Right.
So beyond that, beyond the music scene, there's theater people. There are burlesque dancers, and there's a belly dancer. There are cosplayers,
Right.
and like you said, people from the comedy and improv scene.
Yeah.
For example, when you talk to Bridget, she
Yes.
came out of
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
who played Arctica. Sometimes we do put on casting calls on audition sites. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. I find that it's best to find people who have who know us through connections and have common interests.
Right.
For example, Casey can tell you, how we found her,
Okay.
and that's kind of typical of kind of the I don't know. It's really catch as catch can procedure, but it's more a matter of finding connections and common interests. Especially in nerdy geek culture, for example.
I totally understand.
If we can sit in a car and talk for hours about movies and TV shows and comics, then we know
You're in. You've been jumped into the gang.
we know that we're in the right circles,
Right.
and we're doing the right stuff. Yeah.
Yes. Excellent. All right. So how did they find you, Cassie?
How did they find me?
Yeah.
I was cosplaying at a convention that they were at, and sorry about the voice.
It's okay.
I'm not trying
It's
to do this.
it's frozen
I'm
out
not
of her.
trying to do this husky thing on purpose. This is the remains of cold that went away a week ago, and this got to stay. So I was walking a con floor as Black Canary, as luck would have it, and Manny and I started up a conversation about comics and such, and I actually came on as a background role, a woman shopping for pickles.
Okay.
And
That's how all the big ones start.
as one does.
Right. Yeah.
And it just so happened that there was an opening for a supervillainess It was a changing of roles, and Manny said to me, "Would you like to play a supervillain?" And I said, "Only all my life." and I said, "Yeah, I would love to." And I have a background in stage acting. I'm classically trained vocally, and have a voice acting demo and such. So I was familiar with the acting part of it and
Okay.
the cosplay part of it. So it was natural to join those two things and match made in heaven.
And
They worked
how
out.
many episodes have you been in?
2, 3, 2?
Yeah, 2
Technically,
so far.
yeah.
Episode 19, parts 1 and
'Cause,
2.
yeah, one
Yeah.
was a two-parter.
And her character, Stellara, which you can tell you a little bit more about, the solar-powered villainess, will be returning for the finale, in which a whole bunch of villains get their dander up against a whole bunch of heroines, and things don't end that well. Let's say I won't go beyond that, but
Nice
yeah.
bonus.
So since appearing in both parts of 19. Casey, as Stellara, has been with us to several cons, and we'll be doing lots of cool stuff.
How many heroines do you have, and how many villains do you have currently?
So about 15, 16 each.
Wow.
In other words, if someone's not available, we
Yeah.
can call on a different character.
Right.
We don't necessarily substitute them in and out that much, but sometimes
Yeah.
it is possible. Like, for example, part of episode 20 was going to be our character Vendetta with what was the character who was her best friend in episode 4, who was also a superheroine. That couldn't happen for various reasons, so Vendetta instead teamed up with another heroine, Red Gina, and
Okay.
we were able to fulfill the actress's dream of she wanted to get a little bit more anti-heroic, and she wanted to be a hero that kills people.
Ah, yes.
So I was like, sure, why don't you polish off some mafia bosses? Because she's the
Shine
Italian.
on.
Well,
Shine 'em on.
right, she's the Italian spirit of vengeance. So
Okay.
we made it possible for her and Regina to, and this is going to be shown in episode 20, to
Okay.
bust in on a meeting of the capos.
Yeah.
And basically kill all of them except the one that she really wanted, the one that she wanted vengeance on, gets away again. But in any case, yeah, so yeah, and that's an example of, for example, like sometimes I write for the actresses themselves, and what they want to do in the next role. Really good example of that was I turned one superhero evil and made her one of the major villains, because she was like, "Oh, I would rather like be bad," and I was like, "Okay, well, we can do it in this way."
Right.
And we turned Spectrina into Dark Spectra,
Right.
and that was something that the actress Erica really wanted to make happen, and so I made it happen for her and made it fit very nicely into the world that we were building in the fantastic version of Pittsburgh, where a couple dozen women have superpowers.
Right. Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. So, what is next for as far as the comic goes? I know the comic is the bread and butter.
The comic is everything works in tandem.
Correct.
We have a fan base for both, but the comic book is available in almost 190 stores around North America, and Casey has issues 1 and 2 there. There you go. Right, exactly. That's issue number 2, in which Stellara's origin is in fact told in comic book form. So what's next is creating number 3.
Yeah.
We have 2 interior artists, and we have our usual cover artist, Jason, and then we're going to introduce some new local Pittsburgh pinup artists for back cover pinups.
Yep.
I'm always looking for new people to do those. And so right now our interior artists are at work doing the interiors, 2 8-page stories. And for example, Ben, who is doing the first 8-page story, already showed me his work on the first couple pages. It looks really good. Marvin's seen it, and the panels are tight.
Okay.
We're always trying to improve and make it tighter and more legible, and also more filled with action and peril and suspense. Yeah.
And where can people go to find you guys online?
Oh, as far as online for HEROINEBURGH, We are very simply HEROINEBURGH.com, HEROINEBURGH.com, which offers the episodes for download. It offers the comic books for sale, and also tells you a long list of stores in which they're available. And you can watch all the trailers, you can read the episode synopses, and you can look at a long list of superhero and supervillainous characters, many of whom have been drawn and rendered by Jason Wright, our fabulous cover artist who works for DC Comics a lot.
Excellent. Very good. So before everybody freezes to death, seriously, thank you guys for coming out, making the trek out. I know this was a big deal. I know you guys have a long weekend, and it's a long drive. It was snowing tonight. Nobody anticipated that. But thank you again for coming on. I hope we talk to you guys more in the future. Best of luck with HEROINEBURGH. We think it's really cool. We thought it was a great idea when we saw you guys at Terrificon. I think it's really great how you walk around with people from the show. It's super original. Good luck in the costume contest this weekend, the character contest. Hopefully you guys will win. I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't. I don't know why you wouldn't.
Thank you for having us.
Oh, thank you so much. It was terrific. And yeah, we'll talk to you guys again soon. Casey, Marvin, the creator of HEROINEBURGH.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on, guys.
We sincerely hope you enjoy the program. Please check us out where all podcasts are sold, and check out our YouTube channel as well. Thank you for listening, and thank you for your support. If you don't like the show, go fuck yourself.
Tommy, come on!
Ra-da-da-da-doo.